Hi, this is On Imagination with the Ethical Asshole, and I am your host, a salty bitch. I was browsing online, and I had a massive one of those days where it was just one thing after another, where I was like, oh, epiphany, epiphany, epiphany. So I'm sitting here like screaming at the world, going, why aren't you doing anything? And I'm like, why aren't you doing anything, Anna? And I'm like, I know, right? And I've got it all done because I've been doing this for 2 years. And I'm like, why am I just not doing it? What I'm talking about is petitioning. So petitioning is not only legal, it is the First Amendment in our Constitution. And it is basically when you want change to be made. There is the right way to do it and the very wrong way. And what you see from, you know what, I really cannot talk openly about this because I'm not educated on certain areas. I'm referring to Martin Luther King Jr. when he did this. We see Selma, but the area where we see the race riots, there's a lot of stuff that took place prior to that point. But the problem is people see that point and they think, oh, that's it. So they jump right to that with the race riots. And it's like, yeah, there was a whole lot of stuff they did first. And we are in all the stuff we need to do first stage. And this is where I haven't sat down and studied that aspect with Martin Luther King. I just know that he did do things in the order of operations and it still didn't matter. And that's what escalated to the race riots, which were actually just peaceful protests that turned violent because of other reasons that had nothing to do with Martin Luther King Jr. or his people. So that all being said, I'm sitting here looking at, well, the way to go is you start with petitions. And then after the petitions, you literally, like, here they are. This is where everyone is. And if it still isn't changed, then it gets elevated to the next level. But there's a very legal path to follow here. And it's really, really important that it stays legal. And so I went ahead and I pulled up the forms that I have. I set up the page, and it's under hmsalexandria.org. And that's all set. So what it is you basically submit what topic you want to petition for. And then we work our way through the whole list. Everything. It's 100% everything's going to be petitioned. But the votes are going to determine the priority. So the number one topic is going to be the first on the petition. Then we're going to go to the second one. And the guidelines and everything, I pulled it off of the U.S. government's website, and it's there on the petition. The link is on my link tree, so just click my link tree below, and it will take you right to it. It's called We the People. And then you just follow that link, and it'll go right through it. It talks to you about all of this, and you can submit what you want to petition. Now, you can, of course, submit your own petition. But here's the problem with that. If all of us petition independently, it's not organized, and that's the problem. So instead of just going out and doing your own petition and then you collecting votes, which you can do, please do, you also can organize beforehand so that when we make the petition, we can just say, okay, here you go. Here's the petition you guys asked for. You can all send it done. And there is a timer on this. They give you you need to have X amount of votes within 30 days. So you want to be organized before you petition. So we are in let's organize. That way we can petition. That way we can, boom, here you go, sign, good, here you go. All done, clean cut, right there. And what we're going to do is I have a meeting on Tuesdays. So we're going to go ahead and meet on that. And all we're doing is counting the ballots. It's going to be, and we're not doing people. There's no people voting. I don't do that shit. We are only talking about what issues do you want resolved. And the one that gets the highest number of priority, or the highest number of attention to it, that goes at the top. And then it's literally from greatest to least. That's how it goes. So I'm looking, and if you want to know, I am not on any political spectrum. I am completely removed from the system. I am on the 12 ethics. I go by the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the 12 ethics. I am the self-governed. So the whole spectrum, political stuff, I don't do that shit. I don't do that shit. So I'm not biased because I'm for the people. And when you put your petition in, all we want to know is, are you a U.S. citizen? And if you're from D.C., please jump in because this includes you. So I'm very excited about that. That's been something that's been pissing me off since I first found out that they're not allowed to vote. I'm like, what do you mean D.C. is not allowed to vote? They're part of the United States. Why can't they vote? So all we want to know is, do you live here? And are you a citizen? That's really it. And honestly, I'm not going to get into that, but just according to, we have to adhere to their rules with the petition. So if they say you have to be a citizen and you have to live here, then you have to be a citizen and you have to live here. So we have to, guidelines. So I got all that together today. And when I did, I call it the alma mater, which literally means the nourishing mother. And that's it. It's a non-governing government body, but it's not. It's nothing to do with governing because you govern yourself. I'm just a spokesperson because I'm really good at logic and I'm really good at communication. So I can take literally whatever anyone says and I can communicate it, break it down in little bits and pieces and put it out there. So I'm looking at this thing and I'm going through all the chaos of the day. And there's basically three things that I'm seeing over and over again. I love doing mathematical grouping. The first thing that I see that's constantly coming up is you're dealing with illogic. That's the big one right there. A lot of people are dealing with something that is illogical, which is insanity. If it's illogical, it's insane. So illogic is the first thing that we're seeing a lot of. And a lot of people are like, this doesn't make sense. Can you believe this? It's insane. Yes, it's insane. It is insane. It is illogical. It is illogical. It's not going to make sense. They have removed sense from the sanity. Literally. So once you, and this is the part that all of our brains are tripping over. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is hard. This is fucking hard to wrap your head around because your brain is hardwired with logic. Your brain is pure logic. So when you see something that's not logical, you can't process it, which is why you're shocked. And we get stuck in that shocked status where we're just going, I can't believe it. I get disbelief is the state of no reasoning. And people get stuck there. The problem is if you keep getting stuck there, nothing ever gets done. And I realized today when I was going through everything, I'm like, oh, that's why everyone keeps just getting, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And it's just being shocked over and over again. And then eventually you get desensitized. And I realized, oh, this is not going to be good. Because you're still not understanding that what you're dealing with is literally a lack of reasoning. Reasoning has been removed. And what that does to your subconscious mind is your subconscious mind can't process. So you're stuck in a state of, I want to process, but there's nothing here to process. And so you're grabbing for sanity. So then a lot of you spend your time trying to make sense of nonsense. Don't do that. Because that literally will drive you insane. It literally catches you into it. Don't do it. You got to remove yourself. It's someone peed in the pool and you've got to exit the pool fast. Okay. So that's the first thing. The other thing I noticed is a significant lack of miscommunication. Now, the miscommunication that I'm noticing is, and this is it right here, all communication is built off of logic. So if you have miscommunication, you have logic. You have a logical problem. B, you have a vocabulary problem. Now, if you just have a vocabulary problem, you can restore that on your own. If you have a logical problem, you got to get out. You got to get out. And the reason why is because you're missing gaps in logical comprehension. It's like a domino. It is a domino effect. And you have missing dominoes. Let's say I remove 2 or 3 of the dominoes. So when it falls, it goes, and then it just stops and it doesn't continue. And it's because you have gaps in the miscommunication. And as a result, it's the same thing as something being illogical. So is it illogical? That's the first thing. And then if it's miscommunication, is it miscommunication illogic or is it miscommunication vocabulary? If it's miscommunication vocabulary, that just means that there's a third one here, and I'll get to that in a minute. If it's a miscommunication vocabulary, it just means that you don't have a very specific word. Now, the other kind is stage 1 and 2 of scientific method. And in stage 1 and 2 of scientific method, this is really, really important. Stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 is feelings. Stage 2 is image. There's no words here. There's not supposed to be words here. This is scientific method. This is the way we all learn. Scientific method is our natural learning pattern. And every one of us begins with feeling something with our intuition. This is intuition stage 1. And then seeing it, and that is intuition stage 2. Intuition stage 3 is being able to articulate it and define it with words, but we're not at stage 3 yet. So if you're at intuition stage 1 or 2, you're not going to be able to communicate. Not because it's not logical, it's because you haven't gone through the line of logical intuition yet. That's why. You're just not at that stage of the logical comprehension. So is it illogical? Is it a problem with vocab words, or is it that you're in stage 1 or stage 2? Because all three of those situations, you're not going to be able to communicate. So that's it right there. So you have, is it illogical? And then is it a communication problem? And if it's a communication problem, it's going to be broken down into those 3 categories. Now, the other thing is the abuse. And this is where it gets to be really messy, is abusers take advantage of all of this. They take advantage with emotional upset, and they take advantage of an inability to communicate, and they take advantage of not being able to understand. So on your end of things, you're having a problem with processing logic. There is no logic. You can't understand because your vocabulary is lacking, or because you are in stage 1 or stage 2 of processing, intuition processing. And now you've got an abuser who's going, well, you're emotional, where you have an inability to do X. Well, you don't understand. And now you've got that added to this. And this is all of it right here. This is it in a nutshell. And this bullshit is just being cycled over and over again on top of you. And a lot of people are like, get me the fuck out of here. And I'm watching this whole thing just deteriorate and disintegrate. Now, the other side of this, and this is the other part that a lot of people don't know, it is a fact that when you have a criminal, as soon as the criminals realize they can get away with murder, they stop hiding the murders. Okay? So, ironically, murder hasn't come out and surfaced yet. All the murderers haven't surfaced to confess, I'm a murderer and it's okay and there's no penalty for me. But everyone else who's committing a crime has stepped forward without any shame to say, oh yeah, I do this crime all the time and it's okay, because they know it's a breakdown. This is normal in societal breakdown. This is very, very normal. And the way it's going, we're going to be seeing murderers come out very soon to confess that they've killed people, and it's not going to mean anything. And that's where we're at. Is it's a criminal's world now. That's what we're in the process of doing, and this is normal for the progression of societal disintegration. This is it. This is one of the predictable stages of societal disintegration, is when the criminals realize it's safe to come out now. So all the criminals come out. Now, the good thing about this is, for the non-criminals, you get to see who the assholes really are now. You really get to figure out, oh, all the rapists are coming out. All the people who are conducting bestiality is coming out. Next in line is going to be the pedophiles. Prepare yourself. After this, you're going to be seeing the murderers come out. And this is just normal. This is normal. This is societal breakdown. It's how it goes. So we're talking global civilization is at an end. It really needs to be understood that we are looking at the end of civilization, and it's required. It's things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. And it's the shift that has to happen before we go, wow, things are really bad. Let's build back up here from scratch. And we've already got that in place. We already have that set to go. It's already done. And I'm going to tell you right up front, education is the problem here. Education is 100% the problem. And we already have the school in place with the Healing Garden. That's already in place. It's 100% free. And that starts putting the logic and the order back into it. And we cover this. We go over the societal changes that you can expect, the ethics, all of it. So you can start piecing it back together again. And this is like, we were expecting this. This is 100% something we were all expecting. So I've been working with a team for the last 2 years, building basically a net to catch civilization as it crumbles. So that's the Healing Garden. It's there already. And it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. It's going to. And the more you educate yourself, the better off you're going to be. And that's it right there. It comes down to educating yourself. Now, education is a very, very, it is simple. I'm going to say the word simple. It is simple. If you know it, it's simple. It is a very simple order of operations of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And as you go through the order of operations with education, you are literally getting yourself to the Z location of perspective. At the Z location of perspective, we call this the point of comprehension. When you get to the Z point, it allows you to see the truth as it really is. But you require stepping stones to get you from point A to point Z. Now, a proper educational system will do this for you. And had you had a proper education, you would already be at Z. But you did not get a proper education, so you don't know anything about this. And this is something that they should have taught you before you were 12 years old. Is the whole purpose of an educational system is to get you to the point of Z, the point of comprehension, where you can look at truth and identify truth. That way no one would ever be able to lie to you. So there are literally steps and stages, and there's a very, very predictable mathematical formula for that, and it's just following the steps. Those are the stepping stones. And as you go through the stepping stones, you literally are grooming your own perspective. And the kind of perspective you want is one that you know Mother Nature, and you see truth. That is the perspective you want. You want to be able to know who you are. You want to be able to know who Mother Nature is, and you want to be able to know what the truth is. When you have these three things right here, you can navigate your way. You can find everything you need. You can literally figure everything out on your own. And that is exactly what the Healing Garden does. That's all we cover is who are you? And here are the tools that you need to figure out who you are. And it's the same path. Here's Mother Nature. Here are the order of operations. Mother Nature is just the academic disciplines cheat code, right there. She's literally just the academic disciplines. So as you go through the academic disciplines, you figure out who she is. And then it's like, oh, that's what they all do. So you have the academic disciplines. And then you have you knowing who you are. That's philosophy. And then you have scientific method. And scientific method is you applying these things so that you can figure out who you are. That's all it is. So it's academic disciplines, scientific method, and philosophy. And when you combine these three together in a very specific strategic pattern, then you know who you are. You can see the truth. You can measure the truth. You can tell all lies. You know who you are. You know who you are in relativity to the truth, and you know who Mother Nature is. And then you can sort out the liars. You can also problem solve. You can navigate your own life around chaos and problems, and you literally will put an end to illogic, miscommunication, and increased vocabulary. You'll understand stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. You'll master stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, stage 6, which will get you over to scientific method. And it fits together very beautifully. So all that does come together. And then we coach you on how to end the abuse so that abusers are far away from you. We cover that as well. And again, it's all free. That's all over at the Healing Garden. So we have all this set up and it's all done. And I'm just looking at the chaos ensue. And I'm at a point where I'm just like, what the fuck is going on with the world today? I mean, I know what's going on with the world today, but at the same time, I'm just like, I knew it was going to be bad. I did not know it was going to be this bad. I was that child watching Red Dawn in history class. All right, 1980. I was that kid watching Red Dawn going, oh my God, are the Russians going to be here? Like I was that kid. And now I'm sitting here going, oh my God, it is Red Dawn. It's Red Dawn. We are living in Red Dawn right now, guys. And if you are not a child of the 80s, you need to go back and watch Red Dawn like right now. Everyone needs to watch Red Dawn. So I think that's all I have to say about this. I have a newsletter, and I have a few newsletters, and they're classes. They're master classes. They're not exactly newsletters. I also have my shop. My shop is where I love my shop. I love my shop. My shop is where I sit and have coffee. It's called Philosophical Coffee, and that's my shop. And it's like my nourishment shop where I just sit and I talk to people all day. That's over at Instagram. I love my shop. And I give advice, and it's where I unload my own contemplations, and I structure you on this is how you can apply it to your life so you can better know yourself and better prepare yourself. So I do a lot of stuff like that. And it all just it did just click and came together today over the last 2 days especially. And I'm like, all right, this is it. So take a look at the alma mater, take a look at We the People. And yeah, I will continue to do this podcast. Is not a conspiracy. I will continue to do this. This is going to be like, this is where I'm going to live from for the next 5 years, at least 5 years. If this podcast is not a conspiracy, I love everything about this. I love it. So, yeah, I will talk to you later. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.